Hello, everyone. I can see some people have joined. I can see Travel Diaries 247. I can see Kofi Boadu Owusu. Sorry if I murdered your name. All right. So, welcome to my first Instagram live session. I'll just try to wait a little bit for a couple more people to join us and take it from there. I guess you guys are having a great day. I can see someone else just joined. I can see um, Popola MD joined. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes to see if more people get to join us. Okay, so okay, Kofi. I'm just gonna call you Kofi. Sorry, Kofi said, that's okay. You tried. Thank you for that. And I can see that Health Health Denmore joined as well. Welcome. Thanks for joining, and thank you all for joining us this session. And I'm waving back. Sorry, I'll just wave back. And Dr. Winey joined as well. Thanks for joining as well. And okay, thanks for sending hugs my way and smiley faces and all that. Okay, I'll just wait a little bit more to see if more people join, and then I'm just gonna start right away. And I can see alakada.treasure.chess joined as well. Thanks for joining. And I'm waving back as well. I'm not so technically savvy, so I'm just gonna see how this goes. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I really appreciate your time, taking out time to do this. Tosin Olaya 05 joined as well. Thanks, Tosin, for joining. And Dr. Shion Arulu also joined. Thanks for joining the session. I appreciate you all. And I'll just wait for like one more minute and get this all started. Thank you for waving. I can see you doing that. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna try to start with an introduction. And my name is Olufumilayo Omole. Friends call me, sorry, Omole is my knee, Olufumilayo Folarami. Most of my classmates still call me Omole, so that's kind of, that's just that. My friends call me Fumi for short. So I'm actually a medical doctor by profession. I'm currently pursuing my residency in internal medicine right now, and I I have a lot of things that I do. I like writing. I also kind of like blogging. I'm a lifestyle blogger, and I'm also an author. I've actually authored one children's book, and I just did that earlier this year. And also, I have two blogs. The first blog is actually www.diary of a doctor, where I kind of talk about various health issues. I kind of just have like a basically talk about lifestyle changes, modification, like hot topics in health and all that. I'm not done all of that lately because of so many things, but yes, I have that. Then I can see more people join. Denorki joined. Thanks for joining as well. And also, I said I have another blog, www.themommy.line.com. I feel like I kind of created a different blog to create a different voice for myself, because I realized I kind of like mommyhood and stuff like that. And I'm also a mom of two amazing kids. I have a daughter and I have a son, and I'm married to an amazing guy. He actually joined as well. He's a very totally cool guy, and I love him. He's also a doctor as well. So basically, I have different dimensions to myself, but primarily I'm a doctor, and I recently just started my YouTube channel. I hope I will get that going on as well. So, what are the objectives of this Instagram live? Basically, I know we're all busy, and I appreciate you all for joining the session. And so, the main objectives for this session is basically to answer a lot of questions I got. Dr. Nina Loom, thank you very much for hosting me on your podcast. She granted me an interview on a podcast, and I kind of talked about my USMLE journey. And after she posted the podcast, I got a lot of DMs. I got a lot of questions, and I figured that it was going to be so hard to answer everybody's questions one by one, considering the fact that it's really busy right now. So I decided to just figure out how to do this, and I'm doing this right now. So here I am. And thank you all for joining. I can see Padewumi joined as well, and Dr. Vini Bala joined as well. Thank you all for joining the session. I appreciate you all. And so, like I said, the major objective of this Instagram live session is to just kind of shed more light on my USMLE journey, because I got a lot of questions that I didn't really have time to individually answer everybody's questions one by one. So I decided to do this. And also, the other aspect, or the other reason, or the other objective of doing this is to encourage as many people that need encouragement, because I realized that there was a point in my journey where all I needed was encouragement. Of course, we all know the stuff, we all know what we need to do, but sometimes the motivation to keep pushing is just lacking sometimes, and we need someone to do that, and that's the other reason for doing this. And so I think I'm just gonna go on with this. But before I go on, a little disclaimer here. I just want you to know that everybody's journey is different. You cannot exactly replicate the journey of A in the life of B. I mean, there are different factors that kind of play different roles, and so you can only take what you can and try to make your own journey unique to yourself. So I'll just tell you what my journey is. Your journey is different. Your journey will be different, and so just before I kind of go on, thank you all for joining. I see Dr. Vinibala is waving. I'm waving back as well. And someone else joined again. Falan Coloring. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm calling your name right, but thank you all for joining. So just a little bit about my professional background before I go on. I'm a medical doctor by profession, like I said. I trained in Nigeria. I went to Obafemi Awolowo University, and I graduated in 2009. And so that makes me a very, very old IMG, very old IMG. And so I kind of worked as a medical officer for about a year or two in Nigeria before I relocated to United Kingdom. Yes, I went to England for quite a while because my husband moved there. He was doing his master's, and I had to move there to join him as well. I think by that time I had been married for like 7 months, and so I moved to the UK to join him. And there as well, I couldn't really sit down. I had to practice medicine, and so I took the PLAB exam. I took PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, and I worked for a couple of years. I actually was a foundation year doctor, 1, and also foundation year doctor 2 as well for a couple of years. And then again, my husband got a job in the United States, and he moved, and we're doing the long distance thing for quite a while. And after a while, we decided like, oh no, okay, we had to call it quits. So I had to move to the US, and of course, you know what that means. I had to start all over again, because whatever qualification you have from wherever you're from, you cannot exactly carry that over. You have to start all over again, and that was exactly what I did. So technically, I would say that my journey officially kind of started in 2015, and that was when I kind of realized that, oh, I had to actually do USMLE, and I started out studying, because I started with reading first aid and all that. And so, but I actually didn't do the exam until 2016. So the first exam I actually did was my step 2 CS. I actually did CS first. And I kind of decided to do CS first because I just came from the UK. I felt like my medical knowledge was still kind of fresh, and I decided to do CS first. So I remember very well that I was actually pregnant with my second child. I was 8 months pregnant when I did that exam. And so that was the first thing I did. I did step 2, I did CS first. And so many people so I got a lot of questions about this. Like, someone had asked me that which one do you advise, which kind of what exam do you advise someone should to do? Is this step 1, or is this step 2? Is it step 2 CS or step 2 CK? Like I said, everybody's journey is different. I feel like the fact that I was just coming straight from the UK, I had a lot of medical knowledge, and I feel like I've been practicing medicine. I might as well just get that done and out of the way, and that was what I did. So I did step 2, I did CS first. And so, like I said, I was 8 months pregnant, pushing myself around, but fortunately, to the glory of God, I passed that. I did that, and I passed it. And so that was like a kind of moral booster for me, because I feel like, oh, at least one exam is done, that is out of the way. And after that, I decided to do my step 1, which is like the almighty step one. You all know what this is all about. And so step one was really challenging and all that. And I eventually did that, got out of the way. I mean, my scores were not exactly great, but I was so glad I got that done and out of the way. And so after that, I think sometimes that was in 2016, and later that year, around I think August, because I so desperately wanted to match into residency, and so I decided to attempt step two CK. That was in August, and of course, I unfortunately I didn't pass that time. I was really devastated. I was disappointed in myself. I felt so sad. I was like, so does it mean that the journey of all these years is over? Because everybody basically tells you that, oh, it's over. You had an attempt and you're an old IMG. Just forget it. Just kiss your dreams of practicing medicine in the United States goodbye. And so it was really devastating at that time. Plus, I mean, failure is not something we all embrace like that, and so it was really hard. It was really tough. I felt like, oh man, does it mean this is over? But I kind of told myself that it can't, this cannot be it. I had to basically encourage myself, and I had to kind of pick over the broken pieces of my life and kind of move on, and that was exactly what I did. Many people said a lot of things like, oh, it's over, just go and do something else, just forget it. And so I kind of I'm happy that in retrospect I didn't do that. I didn't give up on my dreams. I kind of kept pushing myself, and I kind of course it was hard, it was tough, because I knew that that was a dent in my on my CV. I had to explain that, like anywhere I go, like I have to explain that. And so like I said, I had to kind of keep pushing myself, and I moved on. And eventually I sat down, I decided on what went wrong. I felt number one, the preparatory time was very short. You had to plan and actually put in a lot of strategic planning. What went wrong? Did I need to study this more? What were my weaknesses? What could I have done better? And just, in a rush to kind of apply. So that's why sometimes you have to take your time. Don't just be in a rush because you want to match in that particular cycle, and you kind of rush yourself and get things, and at the end of the day you kind of don't do as much as you would want to. So if you feel what you need is time, give yourself time to preparation, and give your best. I mean, it's I just in retrospect I just thought about the fact that if rather than just rushing into doing the exam because I really desperately wanted to apply to match, if I had given myself a little bit more time, maybe like 2 more months to prepare, maybe that would have made a whole lot of difference. But there was no point in crying over spilt milk. I just kind of moved on. Like I said, sat down, did that like an evaluation of what went wrong, what I could have done better, took MBME again, found out what my weaknesses were, and I kind of tried to work on that. And of course, I got like 30 points more than I got the first time. I did so great, and that kind of compensated a lot for the failure I had the first time, because I was so mad that I decided to do so well in the exam I did eventually, and that was good. So I think I'm just gonna go straight away. That's like a brief background of my journey, and eventually I matched into residency. March I think March 11th, 2019. Was it 2019? Yeah, 2019. Last year. It's just like yesterday. It was so great. Like all the stress and everything, all the stress and the tears of the past years eventually culminated in something great, and it was the most amazing feeling so far. I mean, at that day, March 11th, 2019, and I kind of pray. My prayer is that this is going to be the lot and portion of as many people that decide to match in this current cycle as well. So I'm just going to go into some of the questions I got and try to answer them. So the DIY queen, she had asked me this question. She's actually a fifth-year medical student in the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. She's currently in her fifth year. She's planning to someday come to the US to apply to psychiatry. I think she likes psychiatry. And so she kind of asked me that what are the things I would advise her to do. And so what I would say is I'm going to start with this question, because I think I want to address all the myriads of questions I got in this format, those are just starting the journey, those are in the journey, and those are like at the tail end of the journey, so to say. So I'll start with those at the beginning of the journey, like the DIY queen asked me. So what I would suggest, or what I would advise is, to do it early. If you want to travel out eventually, you want to move to United States to get more knowledge, get more advanced training, which is good. You set your mind on that. That is a good thing. I really commend you for that. Just start very early and start getting everything done. Get your exams done, your steps. So everybody keeps saying that the step one exam is really key, it's really vital. I mean, we've heard a lot of rumors they're planning to change the format of the exams and all that. They're planning to make it pass fail now. So in the past, when it was just like before the era of the pass fail thing, the scores really did matter. Like you have to, if you're an IMG, you're not an American graduate, you have to score really high in your USMLE. So that is really crucial. You have to strategize and make up your mind to do so well in your USMLE exam. And the first place to start is to get the right materials. You have to get, like, everybody talks about the first aid. First aid is like the Bible, so to say, of USMLE. You have to get first aid. You have to get Kaplan. Like some people did Kaplan. I did the videos, and I kind of read some parts of the book. I didn't read everything. Like if I felt like I needed to buttress, because I didn't have a whole lot of time. I had two little kids and all that. I couldn't read the whole of Kaplan. I just read the areas I felt I was deficient. I went back to read those areas and kind of buttress reinforce my knowledge in those aspects. So you need your first aid. Okay, so HR tutor also joined. Thanks for joining and waving back. And so, like I was saying, you need to get the right materials. You need to get first aid. You need to get UWorld. You need to get Patoma. Patoma is like pathology, the basis of everything. You need to get that going, and also Kaplan as well. Some people talk about different materials. But the thing is, whatever material you want to use, you need to decide on what you want to use and know it so well. If you want to read first aid and you will stick to that. And I had a friend, but when I was preparing for my steps and all that, he decided to read just first aid. And then he read first aid so well that if you asked him a question, like if you mention a point, he could practically quote the page and the paragraph of first aid where that point was. I mean, so what am I trying to bring out here? If you want to read first aid, read it so well that you know it so well, and stick with that. Whatever materials you want to use, choose what you want to use and stick with it. And have a plan, have a strategy, have a timetable, have a timeline. Give yourself that timeline. Okay, I want to get this exam done I want to give myself 6 months to study for step one, and then have a strategy. You're going to do a block of UWorld every day, and then try to come up with a plan on exactly how you're going to do that. And you have to kind of tailor this in line with your lifestyle. Like if you're working, that's different. If you have little kids, that's going to be different. If you have like 10 hours, if you have 7 hours, you have to make sure that those 7 hours are actually 7 hours, and you're actually using those 7 hours to study. And because the main thing in this journey is consistency. You have to be consistent in the journey. You have to make up your mind. There'll be so many times when you'll be so disappointed, so demoralized. You do your a block of questions and you're like so depressed. You're like, what is even wrong with your brain? So you ask yourself that question, but the thing is, you have to keep going. You have to just go back, find out what is not going well, and just go on. So the DIY queen, back to your question. Just start early. Make up your mind on what materials you're going to use and know the materials you're using so well. And the main goal is you want to have great scores. You want to ace this test. That's the main thing. So get the right materials, whatever you want to use. And also because you're still in school, you have a lot of friends. Get like-minded friends that you can all kind of go along in this journey. Like get study materials, get study partners, people you can kind of partner with. There's so many forums online that you can find someone that you have similar characteristics or similar backgrounds that you can connect with and get a journey going. So I think that's how I'm going to answer your question. DIY queen, start early, get the right materials, connect yourself with the right people with similar mindset, and go for it. Just go for it and go for gold. Just Just do it. You can do it, because I actually have two friends that actually match. I actually have a friend who's currently a psychiatrist. I mean, and he finished from my school back in Nigeria as well. He's practicing psychiatry, so it's doable. You can totally do it. Okay, so that's the first question. By I hope I was able to answer that question. If you still have any other questions, you can send me a message later. And so I'm just going to try to answer the next question by Dr. Winey. I'm not sure I'm calling that right. So she had asked me, I have an attempt on step one and applying this cycle. Sometimes it kind of gets disappoint like sorry I didn't say that, but she's planning to apply this cycle. She's kind of just wondering how to kind of deal with the fear. The fear is genuine. Like, I understand. Everybody tells you that once you have an attempt on the steps one and you're an old IMG, just forget it. And so, like, one of the reasons I came out to do this is because, people tell you stuff, people tell you things, and you just have to choose what you want to believe. You have to choose the voices you want to listen to. This is where you have to apply your filter. People tell you it's over, fine. The thing is, you either choose to go with the negative voices, or you give yourself a chance. Like, personally, maybe I have a little bit streak of stubbornness in me. It's when they tell me not to do something that I really want to do it, because I want to know why you think I shouldn't do it. Just kidding. So the thing is, like, if I have a dream to achieve something, I feel like I deserve my dreams deserve a chance, at least to see to the end of it. Let me even give myself a chance before I can say, okay, fine, it's over. At least I give myself a chance. So before you give up on your dreams, give yourself a chance. The fact that you had an attempt on your steps does not mean it is over for you. So what you just need to do is, now going into, I talked about talking about the journey. Those are at the beginning of the journey, those in the journey. So I think I'm at that stage right now, talking about those still in that journey. Maybe along the way you feel like you had an attempt in your steps and you feel it's over, and you're like, what's even the point of going on? I mean, I could have told myself that, like, what's even the point of going on? But I didn't do that, because I really wanted that so badly. When you want something so badly, you should at least give yourself a chance and go all out for it. So in that situation, you must be ready to kind of explain why you had that attempt on your steps. That's the first thing you need to be ready to do. Okay, so Dr. Winey just said, what do you think made a difference for you despite your attempt? Like, did you do anything extra? Okay, so when I had the attempt, like I said, I was devastated. I felt it was over. And I was like, I'm an old IMG. I'm like 9 years post graduation, and then I'm still doing this. My step one score is like not exactly great. I didn't score 260 or anything. And then now I have an attempt, so I was disappointed. But what made a difference is I kind of went back, because a lot of things happened at that time. Like I said, I kind of rushed a lot of social issues around that time. And so I went back to find out what was wrong. And I decided that I wasn't only going to pass that exam the second time. I'm going to do so well that I'm going to prove to them that no, something actually went wrong the first time. So I decided to really ace the test the second time when I did it. So that kind of made up for the first time. Like, oh, so what happens to you the first time? So I explained, like, okay, this happened. So you must be ready to explain what happened. So you have to be ready to answer that question when you go on your interview trail. And so what made a difference is I decided to do so well in the second attempt I did. And to glory of God, it worked out. And the other thing is, that kind of made a difference, because I felt one of the things is they want to be sure that you don't have a lot of gap in your medical knowledge. There was a place where I was, like I said on Dr. Nina's podcast, like, there was I had a clinic that was close to my house at that time, and each time, like twice a week, I used to go to that clinic to kind of like meet see patients, to kind of interact with other people, to see patients, present to the attendings and all that. And I felt like that kind of made a difference, because I was able to show that, see, I'm passionate about medicine. As in, my life is all about I'm so passionate about medicine. I love medicine. I can't do anything but that. So I show that. I mean, I was doing a lot of things about my love for medicine. I was going there to kind of boost things. I wasn't just sitting around, like I wasn't just studying and all that. I would go there like twice a week and try to like augment my CV, so to say. And other things, the other thing is, sometimes this the program directors, they are real human beings. Sometimes like you kind of led to believe that these people are like maybe monsters sitting behind computers, all set to like chunk you out because you're an IMG or something. They're not like that. They're real human beings with blood running in the veins, and they want to see that you're actually you're versatile. I started a blog. One of the reasons I started a blog was not because I just wanted to kind of boost my CV. I was passionate about medicine, and I kind of started a blog to kind of talk about health issues, encourage people, and I think that kind of made a difference, so to say. I don't know, maybe did. Like I said, everybody's journey is different. Just do something extra. Like I said, if you had an attempt in your steps the first time, make sure that the second time you attempt it, you do so well, such that it makes up for whatever happened the first time, so that you can defend it. Something went wrong the first time, and then you got it right the second time, and it further goes to show that you're a resilient spirit. You're a person with a resilient spirit. You don't give up so easily, and that is one quality you need to succeed in residency. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes it gets so tough, but the fact that you could progress and make a headway despite the fact that you had a challenge, it goes a long way to speak so well about you. And that's one way to spin it. So you have to spin something negative in a positive way. I hope that kind of helped a little bit. So I think that kind of made a difference. What was the interview like? What do you think pushed them to pick you amongst all the other candidates? Okay, so like the thing is, the first the disclaimer that I said earlier, everybody's journey is different. The story of my life is that of a grace of God. I believe in God, and I believe that there's an element of that. So maybe I should just answer that question by telling you a true life story of what happened to me. And I so eventually I got 7 interviews. When I applied to a lot of programs. I applied to like over 200 programs. I was almost bankrupt. So, but I'm happy I did that because I had to spread my tentacles. I had to give myself a chance. And also, I'll just mention it briefly here. If you're an IMG, you're an old IMG, make sure you apply widely. You might be a little bit broke. You might have to borrow money from your friends, but I think is worth it. But the thing is, also try to apply to some new programs that are springing forth. Like two of the interviews I got, I knew nobody like from out. It was just all God. There were two brand new programs. We just kind of reset that. Oh, there are new programs that are just coming up there, and I got interviews from them. So that's just putting that out there. So sorry, what was I? So what was the interview like, and what do you think pushed them to pick me? Like, I would say number one, like the grace of God made a difference in my life, so to say, and I'm going to tell you the story of why I think that is the case. So I'd applied widely. I got some interviews, and all the interviews I got, none was in the Pennsylvania area. I live in Pennsylvania with my family, and I got none. I got interviews all over the place. I got one in Atlanta, got one in like Vegas, got one in Maryland, all over the place, and I got nothing in Pennsylvania. And I kind of went to church that day. There was this couple from our church. We kind of had lunch with them. The person's a doctor, and we had lunch with him and his family. And he kind of just said, "Oh, why don't you just like send personalized emails to like this program directors in the Pennsylvania area and all that?" Oh, someone is asking another question. Did you do research? Well, okay. I think I'll come back to that later. So like I said, the person kind of told me to write personalized emails and all that, and I did that. I went back home. I looked at all the programs in the Pennsylvania area. I think they were like over 40, and myself and my husband, we kind of crafted personalized emails to each of these program directors. Now, getting their email addresses was a huckling task. It was really hard. You have to like look at emails in that program, look at their names, kind of put things together, because you sometimes the emails you have like on errors is not exactly what your real emails are. So that kind of task, that kind of work, we went through that. Send personalized emails to all these programs, and the program I eventually matched to was the last email of the night, and I kind of sent that email. It was Sunday night. That day I remember I was so ill, I had a fever, and we kind of just did over like 40 emails and all that to those programs, like specifying like, oh, I live in the area, my family's here, my husband works here, oh, I'm happy to be here and all that. Crafting that kind of personalized email to like 40 different people was a lot, but I did that, and I'm glad I did, because the next day, Monday morning, I got an email that, oh, someone had just cancelled someone just canceled an interview. Are you available on short notice to come for an interview? Of course, I said yes. So that's why I said like that there was an element of God in play at that point. And of course, I went, and then it was all good. Everything, the rest is history. That was where I matched. So the thing is, you have to send in personalized emails sometimes. Like, people tell you, I know I asked myself this question a lot during the interview season as well. Should you send emails? Should you, like, I spoke to a lot of my friends at that time. Do you think it's okay to send emails? Will people get mad that you're sending emails to them? Would they even read it? I mean, the thing is, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But how will you know if you don't try? How would I have known if I didn't try? How would I have gotten that email telling me to show up for an interview if I did not at least try? So at least try and give yourself a chance. You don't know. You never can tell if that will make a lot of difference. So I feel that God played the element of God played a role in my journey. So I cannot deny that fact that there was a divine hand playing a role. But that aside, like I said, studying hard, finding out what went wrong, and trying to like boost yourself, go for externship. I remember I went for an externship for like a month when I was back in Atlanta, and I think that made a difference. And so that's just like a summary of that aspect. And I got a lot of other questions. I think I'm just going to try to answer them. But while I'm trying to pull the questions up, I just saw another question about, did you do research? I can't actively, I wouldn't really say I did research actively. I mean, I had done research like when I was back in the UK. I mean, like you do like this clinical audit. I did like clinical audits and all that. That was one thing I did. And then I had written like some papers when I was back in school and all that. And so I wouldn't say I actively did research, and that's because I did it was something I didn't have the opportunity of like doing that active research. I didn't do like an MPH like most of my friends did. And that's why before the interview season started, I book I called a book of my book of residency runs. And before the season started, I kind of wrote, I had like I drew a table, and I kind of wrote down the things that were working for me and the things that were working against me. So on this side, I wrote the positive things, and on that side, I wrote the negative things. So I'm going to tell you the negative things I wrote first. The negative things I wrote first. Number one, IMG. The fact that you're an IMG is like a minus. So that's like, I saw that as a negative thing. And number two, the fact that I was not just an IMG, I was an old IMG. I was like 9 years post graduation. So I thought that was like a minus for me. And the third thing I wrote was low step one score. My step one score, like I said, it wasn't great. It wasn't like 260 or something. I felt like it was not great. So I thought that was like a negative for me. And the fourth thing that was against me that I felt was a negative was the fact that I had a second attempt on CK. That was like a negative. And then I also wrote that no MPH. Like, I didn't do MPH. I don't have like tons of papers. I didn't do public health masters in public health or something, which was something a lot of my friends did. So I thought that was like a negative. But I kind of also wrote on the other side the positives. I wrote quite a number of positive things I did. So maybe you have to kind of mentally talk to yourself about this as well. And yes, when I don't really have like active research. I mean, I did research. I had that on my CV, things I had done, but I didn't actively do like research around that time. But if you have the opportunity of doing research, I believe that's going to be an extra. That's going to be a plus for you. So Kofi Boadu asked the question: how many attempts does one have for the steps? Because I learned once you failed an attempt, you are not given another chance to write, but in your case, you took the exam again and passed this time. Okay, um, so let me see. I did my step one at once. I didn't have a step on my step one. I didn't have an attempt on my step one. I only had an attempt on my step two CK, and so I'm not really sure about that. I just know that once you have an attempt on your steps, like if you have an attempt on your step one, by the time you come back to take that step again, just make sure that you do so well. So that's why you have to sit down and find out what really went wrong the first time, and try to figure out how to deal with those lapses, how to deal with those things that went wrong. So you have to have a personal conference with yourself. You know what went wrong. Most likely you know what went wrong. Maybe you didn't have a lot of time to prepare. Maybe you didn't have a lot of maybe you didn't take a lot of MBMEs. Maybe you felt you kind of rushed through everything, or maybe you felt like you didn't do your USMLE as many times as possible. And that was another question someone had asked me, like how did I kind of study for the exam. So majorly I used first aid, because I mean, like I am an older MJ, I have little kids. I kind of just went for the simplest, most I felt first aid was really, really easy to read. So I did that, and I did that well. By the time I was done with my first aid was totally annotated. Like it was like painted. I had to buy another first aid, because my first aid was so annotated that it was like it was becoming something else. I had to get a new one to kind of get a fresh perspective about everything. So you have to at least read your first aid like three times. You read it first time, like you're just kind of getting yourself acclimatized to the book. Then you read it the second time. This time around, you're reading it with your UWorld, and this time you're actually annotating things from your UWorld into your first aid. And so that is like a revised version of your first aid. And by the time you're reading your first aid the third time, you know everything. You kind of like just kind of sealing all the points in. So basically, I would recommend that people should do you word at least three times. The first time, I did it three times. The first time, I kind of went through the whole questions, and as I was going through the questions, I was kind of marking the questions I felt like, man, these are really difficult questions. And so that was the first pass. The second pass was doing all my incorrects, the ones I got wrong. And then the third one was trying to do all the marked. So that's kind of like you going that was like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So first time going through it. The second time was kind of doing the incorrects. That's like 0.5, right? It's not really once. And then the third time was actually going through the incorrects. So that's like, so technically that's the second time. And the third time, which officially is like the fourth time, is like resetting. You have to reset your whole U world. And it's like you're starting from scratch. And that way you're kind of sealing the points in. And so another question I got was, so how exactly did you do UWorld? The way I did UWorld is I did UWorld by the first when you're doing UWorld, try to, like, after your first pass, after doing like your incorrects, your marked, try to make it like, so when you're doing it, do it in tutored mode, like tutored timed, okay, timed mode. Do it like do it systemic based. So you kind of read a point, you read a topic in first aid, and then you do the systems, like do the questions under that. And then as you're doing, maybe you do 2 blocks a day. First time in the morning, you do it systemically. You kind of seal the points in you've read in your first aid that day, and in the evening you do random tutored timed questions. And that way you're studying at the same time, and at the same time you're kind of preparing yourself for the exam. Because I realize that this is another problem many people have. It's not that they don't have the knowledge. For Christ's sakes, we are doctors. Like we have the degree, we have MBBS or whatever degree you have. You're a doctor. You know the stuff. You treat patients. You know these things. It's just the fact that the fact that we've been out of touch with medicine for a very long time, and the fact that we left clinicals a very long time ago. That kind of that's what kind of makes us have a lot of issues sometimes. So, but the thing is, getting into that, getting the test taking strategies, right test taking strategies that you just kind of need to look into. And I believe that that's going to make a whole lot of difference. So try to do it systemic based. That way you're sealing your knowledge in. You read cardiology today, you do questions on cardiology that day. The next day maybe you read GI, you do questions on GI. But in the evening of that day, you're doing random questions timed because you're timing yourself. You're preparing yourself mentally for that stress. For Christ's sake, this exam is like 9 hours. Like it's crazy. We know that exam is like mentally draining. So you have to basically prepare yourself because I believe that like 60% of of passing the exam is actually about your test taking strategies. It's not like we don't have the knowledge. Being able to like pace yourself, answer the questions right, correctly, and kind of not get mentally exhausted. But by the time you kind of get yourself used to answering questions and getting yourself mentally conditioned into that exam mode, that makes a whole lot of difference. And if you make that part of your studying pattern, it makes a whole lot of difference. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Sorry. So I think that's the way I see that. I'm just trying to answer a lot of questions, in all together. And I also got some other questions. I'm just gonna try to read. So I answered a question from DYI Queen. Someone else also asked me about the fact that if when you submit your application, can you actually like take it back to kind of make corrections? And I kind of believe that I'm not sure that ERAS has opened yet. I believe that the ERA application season is gonna open soon, and but I believe that even if you kind of you submit your applications, I believe you can easily like, as long as the programs haven't like downloaded it yet, I believe you can still make changes. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of that. And so someone had asked me, Dr. Nihar Pidatala. Sorry if I didn't call that right. She asked me, I read your latest post, very motivating. I want to follow up and ask, how did you contact program directors, through ERAS or through direct emails? And what did you include in the content? What did you include in the content? Okay, so like I said, I kind of contacted the program director through the emails provided on ERAS, on the ERAS application. I try to send personalized emails. So, like I said, sometimes the email you find on ERAS, they're like the generic emails, and they're not like the real personalized emails. So what you have to take it a step further. Try to look at that program, look at people's emails in that program, and see, most of the time you see that there's a way they put emails. You see people's name, maybe the first letter of their name and then their last name and then that program. And that way you can actually find what their personalized email. Sorry, that's like, I don't know, maybe I should be saying this, but I mean that was what I did. And so that can make it a lot of difference. You can put their names into Google and you can see that you can get lucky. You can see their personal emails and you can send personalized emails. They can actually get to read it. But the only way they'll get to read it is if you even sent it in the first place. So don't just think, because I remember some people told me don't send emails. And that was why I kind of asked around. I asked all my friends, do you think it's okay to send emails? Like, am I ruining my chances by sending emails? Do you think they'll think I'm like sucking up to them and stuff like that? But I'm happy that someone gave me that advice and I took it. So that's that. Someone just said, how long did it take for you to be eventually matched? Okay, so I matched the first time I applied to residency. I matched. I said like I got like 7 interviews. Two of the interviews I got were totally brand new programs that I didn't like. I basically had no idea who these people were. Like I just kind of saw them. They were new programs and I applied and I got in. So the other thing is, as IMGs, I know that you have your dreams and all that. You have your dreams of becoming a cardiologist from when you were in your med school and all that. But to be honest, let me just tell you, an IMG, like I said, a lot of odds are against us. We have to just embrace that fact. So you have to spread your tentacles. Don't just say, I want to do internal. It's either I do internal medicine or nothing. Or it's either I do OBGYN or nothing. No. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket, as people from my area say. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Try to put your eggs in different baskets if there's anything like that. Like I kind of applied widely. I applied into, I wanted internal medicine. I've always been an internal medicine person, but I applied to both internal medicine and family medicine. I was like, well, if internal medicine doesn't work, what is my backup plan? My backup plan was family medicine. Sorry, not like family medicine is great. Like, I mean, that's why I considered it. But I really wanted internal medicine, but I kind of had a plan B. Like if internal medicine doesn't work, I I believe that family medicine will work. And so try to apply widely, try to kind of give yourself options. Don't just say, oh, it's either OBGYN or nothing, it's either psychiatry or nothing. Apply widely. Think about like differentials of things you like. Like think about differentials of possible differentials, sorry. Differentials of specialties, other specialties you can consider or see yourself doing, and try to apply in those things as well. Don't just kind of limit yourself, you know. So that's another prayer I just want to put out there. Okay, so Kofi said, please, you're not talking a lot. I'm enjoying the information and I need them. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So that's what I think. I think you should kind of try to look for their email addresses, and you might have to play the role of like Sherlock Holmes here. You might have to do some detective work, look for people in that program, look for the way they write their emails, their first letter of their first name and their last name, or try to put it into Google and type it, see if anything comes up, and bingo, send the emails. You never can tell. You might just get a call the next day that someone canceled, just like my story. Who knows? You never can tell unless you give yourself a chance. So that's what I think. And then she kind of asks about the content of the emails. Like I said, I kind of put my personal story, like my husband works in this place. This is where we live. We have a house in this place. I have roots tied in this place. I want this place. So you people should take me. So that was basically what the email was about. So try to like explain the reasons why you love that program, why you're kind of attached to that program. Maybe you have an uncle living there, maybe you have like a connection there, maybe you have something you can just kind of tie to that program. Maybe there's something about a program you love that kind of tallies with your goals, your life goals, things you want to do, or you just love it, or you live in the area, or your house is just like next door to the program. Just put that, and I believe that's going to make a whole lot of difference. So that's that question. And okay, so I think I answered Wayne's question. She was like, okay, so I have an attempt. So I think I talked about this. Like the fact that you had an attempt does not mean it's over. Give yourself a chance. Push yourself so hard. Push yourself so hard it hurts. Like there are times, seriously, all this fine face, there were times when there were a lot of tears. My husband can bear witness to this. There was, I don't want to start telling you stories. Let's just keep this very strictly serious. So there are a lot, sometimes there will be tears. There will be days when you're disappointed in yourself. There will be days when you do an MBME and you ask yourself, what is even wrong with your brain? Is it like your brain is not working anymore or something like that? Those days will come. And what you need to do on those days is to kind of remind yourself why you went out to do this in the first place. You love medicine. You're passionate about medicine. We need you in medicine. We need you to practice. We need more doctors like you. So we want you. And you cannot give up on your dreams just yet, just because of some minor hiccups or hitches. So you can go for it, and we need you. So someone said, I want to specialize in emergency medicine. How do I build myself for the program aside writing the steps? Okay, so that is brilliant. That is really great. So the fact that you want to do emergency medicine, that is like a hot cake area. Like this is, we need a lot of people in emergency medicine. That's like a really hot cake specialty, and I believe that that is doable. So what I would suggest is, in addition to like doing your steps and all that, you have to do externship. Like if you have the opportunity to do externship or like a rotation in like like in emergency medicine. I know that the COVID thing has made a whole lot of has complicated things a little bit, but I still believe that I believe that there should still be some programs, or there should be like opportunities for you to still kind of keep yourself in tune with medicine. Like I don't know what your story or your background is, I don't know what you're doing, but if you have the opportunity, affiliate yourself with a hospital, even if it is not emergency medicine particularly, like a hospital somewhere. Like I said, like I used to go to this low income clinic that kind of provided like free healthcare for people with low economic strata, so to say. And so I used to go there like a couple of times a week. So you can look for programs like this, like just search for it. You can talk to your friends. I'm sure like people know there are so many of these programs you can find in different states. Like I said, I don't really know your background, I don't know where you live, But I believe there will be programs around you, there'll be clinics around you that are still kind of still receptive to allowing people to come and shadow, or at least like do externship, even if you won't touch patients, even if you have to like wear PPEs or like make sure you're all gowned and protected and all that. Like I said, COVID has made things a little bit complicated, but these are things you still need to do. If you have the opportunity of like rotating through an emergency medicine department somewhere, or even if it is not emergency medicine, maybe a hospital, they just want to know that you're passionate about medicine and that you're in touch with medicine. So that is something you can do. But unfortunately, COVID has made things a little bit complicated. But even at that, there's still so many things you can do. Make sure you're like writing stuff, maybe like you writing well, if you're a doctor, like I don't know what Popola MD is doing, I don't know where you are, but if you have the opportunity, you can just try to like affiliate yourself with a clinic somewhere. I think that would make a whole lot of difference. It doesn't really have to be like a casualty or like an emergency medicine unit, so to say. um I hope that kind of answered your question a bit. So just try to do something different. Maybe even like start a blog. Start a blog on emergency medicine, like emergency issues, like maybe for moms who have like little kids who get hurt. I'm just that's a joke. I mean, just do something different. And another thing I kind of realized is that sometimes they want to see that your life is not just all about medicine. They want to see that you're actually a real human being and that you're going to function well with the other residents. They want to know that you're not going to be problematic resident. They want to see that you have a different flair to you. Like, so what are you outside of medicine? Are you like a marathon runner? Have you been in the army? Do you paint? Like, are you an artist? Sometimes some of these things, they look at these things as well, so you might as well just do something different, something more interesting. um Ideally, how long does it take to be batched? Because I learned it can take long. Okay, so sometimes it might take long. So like the application season, the I think application opens in September, and then people start applying and they start getting interviews, and then the interview season kind of drags to like January, February, and then March is in March. That's why it's called a March, I guess. So how long does it take to be matched? Usually, like if you get all your things together, you get your ECFMG certification done, and then you get all your steps in, then you can apply to match, and then you might get lucky and get matched the first time you applied. I got matched the first time I applied, and at the same time, I had friends who never matched the first time. And so one of my friends last year, we actually studied for CK together, and unfortunately he didn't match, and I matched. And of course that's tough. That's like a really bitter pill to swallow sometimes, when you're like happy but you can't really be happy because your friend is not very happy. Sometimes this is like a story in medicine. But so what he did was he decided to go back and he took his step three, and that made a difference. And this year he matched. So I'm really happy about. So that's another thing that can make a whole lot of difference. Do your step three, get it done, and that's gonna like set you apart, because they know that you're not gonna have issues doing your steps, doing your step three while you're doing your residence. So that's gonna be a plus as well. Get your step three done, get it out of the way, and that's gonna be a plus. So that is that. Another question I got. Okay, so I answered Tosin's question, and I think I answered. So someone else contacted me. I'm Elvis, an IMG from Nigeria, applying to US residency this fall. Listening to your interview with Dr. Nina on a podcast, it was inspiring. My journey is quite similar to yours. I finished medical school in 2013, and I completed first year of EM residency, and in the UK prior to coming to the US last year. Because my wife got employed here, I've now completed my steps, including step three. Kudos, well done. You are so smart. And I'll be grateful to get your advice and guidance, particularly the chances of matching a program like yours. Well, and please let me know how best. Okay, so I mean, well done, Dr. Elvis. I mean, you've done a great job by getting all your steps done. I believe you're in like a good shape. I think all you need to do is start preparing for interviews, and like start talking to all your friends. So this kind of brings me to another point I want to talk about: networking. Now this is going to be a little bit, this is going to be a little bit controversial, so to say, and that is because my personality, I'm a little bit introverted. So when everybody kept telling me, Fumi, you have to, like, you have to network, you have to talk to people, I was like, oh geez, this is the only part of this whole thing that I don't like. Like, so my husband kept pushing me, like, you have to talk to someone, talk to this person. This networking thing is not like my thing. I love people. I mean, I like people, but like going out on my way to kind of like, I feel like I'm sucking up to people. I'm like a leech and all that. I don't like doing that. But I'm so sorry. This is something you have to do. But the thing is, the caveat to that is, I mean, if you have friends that are like in residency or that are done with residency or that know they know one or two people, I mean, I feel like in this the whole GSMLA journey takes planning, it takes strategizing. Someday at a point in your life journey, you're going to apply to residency, and then all of a sudden you show up like 1 week to application season, and you start chatting your friend, hey, what's up, by the way, I'm applying to residence. Seriously, I feel that's why I said I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. If I have like a lot of I have a lot if I have a lot of friends that I know that are applying to residency, and I have one person who has been in touch with me for like years and years, and then someone just shows up and like talks to me like maybe a week or two before that, and I have like a chance to like put in a good word for someone. Who do you think I'm going to put in a word for? I mean, if you're in my shoes, what would you do? I'm putting a rhetorical question to you. So, what point am I trying to bring out here? You're going to apply to residency and all that. And so, you have to talk to people from like the beginning of your journey. You don't just wait till it's like 1 week to application season and you start talking to your friend, your long lost friend. I mean, I don't think that is right. I don't think that works that way. Sometimes it works that way, and I know sometimes we're busy. Everybody's busy with activities of their lives and they're trying to get things done. But I just want you to know that reach out to those friends of yours, reach out to those people that you know, reach out to just that person. Don't wait till it's like application. So you now remember that you have a friend somewhere. I mean, that's not nice. So just a word on that. And I believe that networking is very important. You never can tell. Talk to someone, talk to a friend, talk to people, talk to just kind of try to network, because that makes a whole lot of difference. And so that's that question answered. And someone else said, hi, that's Dr. SF, Dr. Segrade. She said, hi, Doc, just listening to your podcast this morning. Thank you for being an inspiration and sharing your story. More power to you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And I believe I've answered everybody's question. Okay, so I got another one from Dr. Sewese Akuse. Hi, Doc. I just listened to your podcast with Dr. Loom. Dr. Loom, I just a shout out to Dr. Nina Loom. I love you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do this, and because you made me do this. I am an IMG as well, graduated 2009. I came here 2015 too. I'm applying this year. Just worried because of my old IMG status. So it was a relief to hear that an old IMG matched as well. So yeah, I'm happy that you were inspired by my story. That was one reason I kind of shared my story, and I'm glad I was able to inspire one or two people. And I just want you to know this. Sorry, this is going to be over soon. This is going to be over in 2 minutes. So I just want to encourage you that just keep pushing yourself. Just keep encouraging yourself. Never give up on your dreams. You can do this. It's totally doable. People tell you that, see, you failed, just forget it. Don't believe that. See it through, make yourself better, enhance your CV, do whatever you can to make a whole lot of difference. So I'm just going to go through a lot some quick important things I just want to mention before this is over. So just cultivate the habit of writing down your goals. Write down your goals, what you want to achieve and how exactly you want to achieve it. You want to do one block of UWorld every day, do it. You have a timetable, you revise the timetable like 50 times. Just do it every day. Have a list of goals you want to achieve. Most times you do 50% of it, and most times you won't do 50% of it, but at least you wrote it down, and then the next day you work on it and you do better. So try to distinguish between what is an outlet, what's distraction. If you have just 7 hours to read in a day, make sure that those 7 hours count. Don't spend 2 hours of those time on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. Make sure if you're reading 7 hours, you're reading 7 hours. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't chill, you shouldn't do Netflix sometimes. That is quite amazing. You can do that, but Make sure that your reading time really counts. And networking is key. Send emails. What else? Have discussion partners. There are so many discussion partners you can find on all these forums, and be very careful of these forums. Especially, some of them will tell you things that are really disappointing and discouraging. But one last word: pray hard, be determined, and hard work is key. So I'm just going to leave you with this quote by Philip Swift. Stay true to yourself, yet always be open to learn. Work hard and never give up on your dreams. Even when nobody else believes they will come true. But you believe they will come true. These are not cliches, but real tools you need no matter what you do in life, and stay focused on your path. All right, people, have a good one.